Hello all, Joe Weaver here again. Today I'm out on the coast of North Carolina at what's called North Topsail Beach or Island, and the wind was blowing pretty hard out on the beach, so I found a place behind some dunes to where the wind's not blowing as hard so I can do this video. The subject that was coming to me to share has to do with us, how we're evolving into more collective awareness, from individualized awareness into more collective awareness. And what this means is, as we individually are, say, becoming more aware of our collective self, then we start working together more as a collective community, not only, say, in different countries, but also as the collective that we are as a planetary being, as a consciousness, and so on. And the example that I gave before in some seminar courses that I've shared is that, why does everybody need a lawnmower? The lawnmower meaning the lawnmower that cuts the grass at the house that you have. And this might be a little different depending on what country you're in, but here in the United States, you got these communities where we have hundreds of houses in a community, and everybody has to have their own lawnmower. And I'm just using this as an example about the individualized awareness moving into more collective awareness. And if you really think about it, look at the grid work that we create in these communities. And it's really interesting that we think in the way that we have lived in the past is that we think that we must have one of everything. And again, what is one? It is individualized. And it's not saying that it's bad. It's just the way that we have lived. And it's in order for us to, say, have a more, say, sustainable community of us here on Earth, we becoming more aware of each other, being able to share and work together as a collective unit that basically will be more, say, productive and also more abundant for everyone if we start implementing more ways and systems that are based on a community, say, collective awareness, and also support on more of a collective and as working together as a collective being instead of individualized beingness. And so an example of this, because I every time I share this or talk with somebody about this, why does everybody need a lawnmower, it's sort of like, it's a little bit comical in a way. We have, some people might have these really big lawnmowers for their house because the other person next to them has, just a little bit bigger than ours, or a little bit more flashy, a little bit more different color and everything else. That's fine and everything else, but we had these lawnmowers that basically, the bigger and bigger they get, you could just go back and forth across the lawn a couple times and it's completely done. And it's really wild. But at the same time, we're looking for examples of how we can develop into more collective awareness, more collective support of one another, and so on. So example is, why not, if there's 100 houses in a community and everybody currently has their individual lawnmower, the option would be maybe 10 houses join together and share the same lawnmower. Create a garage full of tools and weed eaters and all kinds of equipment to share between one another, and therefore it's more sustainable. It's not more, the equipment And everything that we buy basically is based in some kind of product or earth-based material. So either it be a steel or that comes from the minerals in the earth. It comes from iron ore. It comes from a natural resource. It's based in that in one way or another. And or if it's a plastic, then it then has to, when it wears out, it has to go into a landfill somewhere. So by us coming together in a more sustainable way and sharing resources, sharing our, say, the resources in some ways, it makes it more sustainable, not only for us as a collective community of Earth, but also the Earth itself. It becomes, we're looking more long-term production instead of, or effect, and on how we live instead of just a short-term. So, going back to the example of the lawnmower, if we had 5 or 10 houses using, say, the same lawnmower, or saying using the same collective garage full of equipment, tools, ladders, all kinds of tractors and everything else, we could then work together as a better unit and resource for one another to do things in a more sustainable way, in a long-term effort. So, that's the thing. It's that I wanted to share in this video was we have choices, available to us how we can develop into more of a sustainable collective unit here on Earth. Another example is how houses and homes are currently built. They're very much, everybody has to have their own plot of land, and therefore every house has to have, its own everything. Its own kitchen, its own restrooms, everything. An example of this would be if we started just building houses differently altogether. Just say we built more of a pod home to where there is one centralized, say, kitchen, group of different utilities in the middle, and then out from there could be 4 or 5 living quarters that have their individualized restrooms and bedrooms and everything else, but we use a collective, say, kitchen or everything else. Some of this is going on right now. Different communities around the earth, more people are becoming aware, or say feeling the urge within themselves to join together, to start working together, sharing, and working together is the biggest part of this. When I've shared these ideas with other people, our awareness automatically goes back and starts comparing. It might compare what I'm describing here to something that we have maybe experienced in the past, say that we might have experienced in previous history, or comparing to if all we do is share the same lawnmower, then there might be other people that either are abuse the lawnmower, therefore it won't be good for anybody, or somebody might be just lazy one and never do anything. That is the kind of comparison that we it would be good for us to release. It's that judgment of looking into the past, bringing the past into the present. What we are creating right now on Earth is our individualized consciousness is developing into a collective awareness. Therefore, what we are going to be developing and creating on Earth in the years to come is, what we described as the new Earth, the new paradigm of Earth. And this for which is being created, we have not experienced before here on Earth. It's something new. Many thousands of years ago, we might have, experienced something that was very close to what we're developing into, more collective, say, beingness and so on. But you know, this is new, what we're creating. It's something we have not done together, say, in a very, very, very long time. So how we move into this developing our collective, how we choose to live together collectively, is going to be up to us. It's nobody else is going to come along and say, you know, here's everything. Here is exactly what you need to do. You need to, here's all the houses, why don't you just go live in them? Or here's a system, why don't you just start using it? You know, we, in a way, know within our hearts and within our say, inner, say, will within us, you know, different ways for which we could start developing and working together, either in communities or in production of food and how it's being distributed. There's all kinds of different ideas that we may have within our mental awareness, but it's not being set forth. It's not coming out. It's not being manifested through action. And that's really what, you know, the more of us that pretty much are moving into and allowing ourselves to start living the collective awareness, to start making what we feel within our heart, or say within our mind, and make it happen in the physical. You know, each one of us have different talents. We have different resources. We have different, you know, all kinds of different, like, say, ideas. And being able to share these ideas and work together to a greater degree is mainly what I'm describing here. And another thing I just want to say is, you know, the energy that's on Earth now is going to be supporting these developments, these more creative, collective planning and living together in those ways. The old paradigm is set up and it's mainly was to do with individualized awareness. That, in one way or another, will slowly, because will no longer be sustainable, which means it will be, you know, it'd be harder and harder as time goes by to actually have that type of awareness in the energetics for which are, say, raising in frequency on the earth now. So it's the energy in itself for which, you know, is going to be pushing in some ways pressure of evolving people's awareness from individualized awareness into collective awareness. And that is a state of being. It's not a belief. It's actually a state of being. It's a state of vibrational awareness that we basically live in. So there might be some people that, of course, you know, might hear what I'm sharing here, and I'm not the only one that have shared similar, say, information about, you know, all this topic, but we will not be in this past or where we are right now for very much longer. It's because we are evolving, we are moving, things are changing, and therefore, but in order for us to really bring forth this new energy, this new expanded frequencies of energy that that are available on Earth now, is to bring it forth through our actions, through our living life, our interactions with other people, and how we are working together as a collective community, not just individual countries, because, you know, these individual countries, for which that's all tied into the old paradigm also. We are a collective earth community. Us, every single person on earth, no matter what color, belief, or anything else, is a collective community on earth, and is us collectively as a collective community that will be creating and, say, evolving into this new paradigm of earth. So that's pretty much the main thing I wanted to share today, and also being able to be out here on the beach and share the energy of change, you know, the energy of the ocean in itself, with the movement and the tides and everything else is continuously always moving. It's continuously always cleaning itself also. It's a natural progression of cleaning itself, refining. But it does not stay where it is. The beaches move. The water flows of the water streams and so on move in different ways. And it's the same thing as us as a collective being. We're evolving, we're moving. You know, it's everything is in a way sort of cleansing its own self, in a way moving and out of the old into the new, and we're part of that change. So all right, well, until next time, I'll leave you with some sounds from the ocean and this beautiful landscape that I'm in. See y'all next time.